another video. Hello if you're new, I'm Leona. I have a part-time service dog named Aries, a service dog in training named Athena. So today I'm going to be doing college essentials, or at least my college essentials. I have a list of 15-ish. I think it's 15. But when you count up individual items, it's more. It's just 15 groups of items, I guess I should say. I don't know. So I'm just going to go ahead and get into it. I'm going to start off with the large items that I don't have here with me, and then I'm going to go to the little items. So first off is a food bowl mat. I suggest getting one of the rigid ones, just because in my experience, if you do the floppy silicone, then if there's any sort of water spillage, then it's not gonna fit. It's all gonna when you pick it up, it's just gonna fold, and then it's gonna all go to the middle and spill everywhere, which kind of defeats the purpose. I have a rigid one. I think I got it from Chewy. It's shaped like a bone and it's hard, and then it has a little lip. I think it's in my last year's dorm haul video. Speaking of, if you guys want another dorm haul video, ask for it in the comments. And it was ride or die, life-saving thing. It's actually in use right now for water here at the house. So with that, my next recommendation is a large water bowl. So this is something that a lot of people don't think about, but I highly suggest it, and that's just one of the ones that's automatic. So it has the bowl at the bottom, and then it has the big at least 5-gallon tub container thingy. I highly suggest investing in it, just because it makes your life so much easier in college than having one of the little bowls, especially if you have a larger dog. That was my lifesaver last year with Aries. So yeah, anyways, along with that, I suggest a large food storage container. So first off, if you're sharing a dorm room with anybody, so if you have a roommate, or so a double or a triple versus a single, a food bag is loud, and I mean loud, and I don't think anybody would enjoy that if you wake them up with it in the morning or at night, depending on what your dog eats. But on top of that, there's the bug concern. Just having an open bag of food, I worry that bugs would want to come in and go at it. So I'd just having an airtight large food container is great. You can get them at Ross, at Marshalls, TJ Maxx, that kind of stuff. You can get them off Chewy, off Amazon. I mean, you can get them everywhere. And then you just pick the size that works for you and your dog. From there, I would suggest getting a vacuum, a broom, or lint roller, that kind of stuff. Just because you're not going to be able to get through without it. I mean, in my experience, just about every dog sheds. So yeah, I'd suggest getting a vacuum because hair gets crazy, and if you have tile, then you can use the vacuum also. I do, because my dorm is tile in one area and carpet in another, and then I just vacuum it all up. But if your tile's your room's all tile, then you may want to get just a broom. It's all personal preference. And then I do suggest lint rollers, because if you have something important that day, if you have an interview or a presentation or something, just having a lint roller where you can before you go into class, just kind of lint roll the mass amount of dog hair everybody gets on them off. It's a really good thing to have. Along with that, I suggest having a long line. Now this can be a 10-foot, or it can be a 100-foot. I just suggest having something that's longer, just for safety precautions. I mean, I completely trust my dog on a recall, but I will never on campus let her completely and totally off leash. So this is just something where if, let's say, you see somebody approaching, you can grab this long line and reel them in, tell them to come and grab the long line, so you can hold them close just to be safe. This can be something where if you notice they happen to be getting a little too close to a parking lot, you can set a boundary limit area, all that kind of stuff. There's so many benefits to having a long line, and just being on campus is something that I find as an essential. So that's everything as far as what I have pictures or don't have here with me. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and get into general of everything else. And as far as everything else goes, I don't have everything here, but I have a general idea. So starting off, I just suggest having like a grubby vest, grubby harness, something. This is just an Amazon vest. It's Athena's, obviously. I mean, it's pink. I don't have patches on here currently because they're on my patch wall, and I usually use them with my Apollo. But it's just really nice to have if you're going to like go out, like, you know, we have trails around campus, and I'll take Athena on them sometimes, and I guess I'd rather have her in something where she's marked, but also where I don't have a problem if she like tears it up or something, which is where this comes in handy. Along with that, I also really like having this for if you're like going to the movies or something like that. And I mean, like, an Amazon vest doesn't take up much space anywhere, so you can like shove it just about anywhere, and it's nice to have that, or just like a cheap harness that's easy to replace, you know, something like that. So that's just one thing on my list, and that's something a lot of people don't think about. Next, I suggest having like dog wipes and deodorizing spray. So these are just good for like in between baths. I think I got these both at Target for pretty cheap. As you can see, we really use this one. This one smells like grapefruit. I have a couple other ones. I've got, I think, one that smells like lavender, and then a few other kinds. I know I have like a detangler deodorizing spray that I use on Athena and Belle because they're both long coated, but this was great for Aries. So it's nice to have between baths, because I can tell you now, in a dorm with your college schedule, you know, ideally you want to wash your dog every like 2 to 4 weeks depending on the dog, and you don't really stick to that just due to like timing and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, next I suggest having air and fabric refreshers and all the, or fresheners and all that. I just have like the Febreze air freshener here. This is just the yeah, it's like the Fresh and Dry scent, or Linen and Sky scent. So I also use the actual like pet specific one for air and for fabric. I like to like spray down their bed, that kind of stuff, because dogs can be smelly. I mean, you know, it doesn't matter how clean you are, it doesn't matter anything like that. Like, there's occasionally going to be an odor left, and it's really nice to just like be able to spray it down. I also like to use the little like Glade like plug-in things and just like plug them into my wall. Any of those work, but it's just like the oil fresh like diffuser freshener. I don't know what they're called, but they're like plug-in. Yeah, I'm sure people know what I'm talking about. So next essential is going to be a collapsible bowl. So this is just one of our little ones. We also have a huge Kurgo one, which is in most of our Adore videos. I actually need to track it down. I used it the other day at some point, and I don't know where it went, so I'll find it. But this is just a little one, and I suggest this for like if you're going on any trails, or even just like walking around campus between classes. It's nice to be able to take a break and like give your dog water. So for classes, I like to use the little one, just because we have shorter days. And then for like any trails, or if we have any longer days, then I use the big one. So yeah, that kind of thing. Next, I suggest boots. This is something a lot of people don't think about, but I enjoy having boots, A, because I'm in Texas, so it's hot all the time. And then when it's not hot, it's where I go to school, it can get really, really cold, as in like we'll be in coats kind of thing and bundled up and still cold. So for both of those spectrums, boots are nice, but also there's the fact that you're on a college campus, and there's risk of like broken bottles, like glass beer bottles, that kind of stuff. And you want to protect your dog's paws, because if they get hurt, then A, they can't work, but B, you also have the risk of like, you know, all of the emergency bills, you know, the care. And I mean, who wants their dog to be hurt? I mean, if it wasn't for that, it's take the precaution and save yourself. Next, I suggest shoes. So this is just beef backstrap shoes from Real Dog Box, from like their secret shop. They're like leftover bits, and I grabbed some. But I suggest having chews on hand at all times. Any kind of chew works. I usually have a variety on hand. I'll do like a couple of Real Dog Boxes during the summer, where I get like 2 a month or something, and stock up and just have them on hand where I can like throw them a chew if you're having like a long study session or something like that. And that's not a your dog needs it, it's just a your dog deserves to be rewarded. I mean, in my opinion, they do, and it's all up to the handler, but I feel it's an essential. Next, I suggest puzzle toys, Kongs, that kind of stuff. So I have this is like a cheap puzzle toy I got at PetSmart on clearance, and I just like, the treats go in the bottom and then they have to get it out, and yes, they can get it out through the little triangles, but they have to figure it out. And then this is just a Kong. They're really nice if you have like a longer day, or like, let's say you need mental stimulation. Obviously these aren't these work for mental stimulation depending on the dog, but for my dogs, I usually need something more. But they're really good as far as just having something to give your dog if like you're having a rough health day and you can't go out and exercise them. I suggest just having something where they have to mentally exercise and work to get a reward, and it's really good because mental stimulation does just as much, if not more, than physical exercise most of the time. Next, I suggest having weather-specific gear. This is something I honestly don't see very often in college essential videos, and yes, I have looked at them all, at least all the ones I could find for service dog related. I just have our like rough wear raincoat here, but this means raincoats, coats, sweaters, cooling vests, all that kind of stuff, but weather-specific gear. Like if you're going in your town, then you know pretty much how it is, but if you're going an hour away, 2 hours away, look at past history there. For me, for school, here where I live, it's a, not that bad rain-wise. Could be worse. That kind of thing. We have rainy days, but it's not like year-round, versus where I go to school, I have to have a raincoat and jacket or something, and everybody says invest in raincoat and like boots, that kind of stuff, and always have your umbrella on you because you never know when it's going to start raining, and it rains for at least half the year where I go to school. So it's kind of like, it's good to have that. On top of that, we have the cold rain and all that kind of stuff. And there's been years where there's been snow. Definitely don't have that at home. And so I needed to make sure I got like a good coat for my dogs. So yeah. Next, I suggest having light up gear. So this is just Athena's light up collar. I haven't cut it to her size before anybody says anything about like the size of it. So this one I just got at PetSmart, I believe. But you can get this exact one off of Amazon or I believe Chewy. But basically how it works is the light is in like this little thingy and it just reflects through the tube. And it just looks like that. So I just got the pink one because that's her color. And it's just a steady light. It's really nice to have at night because there's daylight savings time and all that. This one has a solid and then a flash setting. And then it turns off. I made sure to do that off camera just to be safe. But how this works is you cut off the end to your dog's size, and they always say, measure twice, cut once, because you obviously can't add stuff back, and it would rather be a little bit big than like too small. But I highly suggest this collar. I also have a little like light up key thing that I like to put on her vest or harness, whatever she's wearing. And then I do have another light up collar that I had for Aries that's blue, and I'm definitely keeping that just in case. So yeah. Anyways, next I suggest first aid supplies. This is something a lot of people forget. I just have vet wrap here. It's yellow. Amazon, Chewy, PetSmart, all that kind of stuff. They're all going to have first aid supplies. I honestly suggest just investing in a dog first aid kit. But you never know when something's going to happen. Along with that, I also suggest making sure you have like a probiotic or something like that, slippery elm, all that kind of stuff for upset stomachs. Talk to your vet. I suggest making sure you have vet wrap gauze, like dog, dog like cream for injuries, that kind of stuff. I think my eye opener was Aries recently cut his toe open, and I had like one roll of that wrap and literally 3 wraps, and I ran out, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. So I suggest just having like a couple rolls of vet wrap on hand. I'd suggest having gauze. I suggest having, just first aid in general for dogs. This is because you never know when they could cut a paw. You never know when they could, break a nail open. God forbid anything happened to your dog, but it's a risk, just like with yourself. And you want to make sure that you have anything to keep them safe. So yeah, anyways, that's all I have for this video. I hope to helped anybody going to school. I do have a couple of videos planned that are in regards to college with a service dog, but if there is any special requests, please leave them down in the comments, and that goes for any videos, not just for college videos. While I'm home for the next month, I do plan on doing a huge filming spree and getting a bunch of videos filmed for you guys, as well as hopefully having a bunch done for school. But with the fact that everything's kind of unknown due to the state of the world, I don't know exactly how busy I'm going to be getting reacclimated to being on campus. So I just want to make sure that I have a bunch of videos for you guys, and want to make sure that I have everything up. I do want to also ask if you guys are enjoying the bi-weekly update uploads, so every other week, or if you guys would prefer me going back to every week uploads. If you guys want the every week, please let me know in the comments, or you can DM me on Instagram. I leave it linked in any of my description box videos if you just scroll through them. And I will switch back if it's something that's like overwhelming response saying they like it. And yeah, I think that's all I have for today, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and bye.